Hello there guys, and welcome to a brand new video on the channel, a video that will be focused on the game Euro Truck Simulator 2, which is of course different to the usual content on the channel which focuses on Forza Horizon 5. I have taken the decision to introduce this new game to the channel to try and add a bit of diversity, but don't worry, it will not be completely taking over the Forza content, and whilst there may be different stuff going on the channel, the main focus will be Forza. Especially as we hope to be expecting the announcement of Horizon 6 within the next few months. We don't really know, to be honest, but we are hoping that it will be coming soon, so do not worry. Forza Horizon 5 and Horizon 6, whenever it's released, will be taking priority, but I thought that I'd introduce Euro Truck Simulator 2 and to hopefully just create a bit of diversity on the channel, appeal to new audiences and try and get more people involved on the channel. So in this video we're just going to be playing through a mission on Euro Truck Simulator 2 using my own truck, my own trailer. I'm going to be taking some logs down from Carlisle in Great Britain over the border into France to Rennes. It's a trip that took around an hour and a half in real time, but I've about halved that for this video, so I've cut out most of the boring bits where there's not much happening, such as the motorway driving where there's not really much going on, and I've left in the most interesting parts, the most important parts of the journey that I thought that you would like to see. Like I said, this is my own truck and trailer combo. I bought them separately. Previously I had two other trucks that were second hand, but I sold both of them because one of them was broken anyway, and using that money I bought this brand new Volvo FH6. It's a bit of an all-rounder. It's got about 650 horsepower and it can do a variety of jobs from what I've used it for so far. And I also bought this log trailer. To be fair, it wasn't the most practical decision because there's very limited jobs that you can take with it, obviously. However, I've managed to secure this job from Carlisle to Rennes with loads of logs on the back, and that was what I'm going to be doing today. So it's simply a playthrough. Like I said, I've cut out some parts of it, but it's chronological playthrough, so do be warned that it isn't like a fast-paced highlights video like some of my Forza content. It is a playthrough, and hopefully it will be interesting and something different for you to watch. So right now we're just heading into the depot to pick up the load. I've driven from just a place down the road where I'd parked up, and I'm selecting the job here that I'd already decided which job I was going for, and now we're going to pick up the load and then hit the road down south towards the border. We'll be picking up the Channel Tunnel once we reach Dover, and then travelling over to France through the Channel Tunnel, and then completing the last part of the journey in France towards Rennes, where we'll be dropping off the load to another depot in Rennes. I'm also on my Logitech wheel for added realism. I don't think I could play this game on controller because of the physics. It just requires the control of a steering wheel, because for me, Trucking Simulator, it is a realistic game. Obviously you're not sending it at 190 miles an hour in a Ford Fiesta like you could do on Forza, so you've got to stay within the boundaries of that realism by playing it on the wheel. I'm going to leave you for now to enjoy this first part of the journey. I'll be joining you at various points throughout the video to add some commentary You'll also see a bit of text popping up on the screen as well at various points, and I'm going to add a bit of background music for a bit of atmosphere when there's just a bit of plain driving going on. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. A lot of editing work has gone into it, and if it's something you'd like to see more of in the future, either in this form or maybe slightly different, but generally just the Euro Truck content, the playthrough content, then let me know in the comments, and it'd be great to hear your feedback from watching this video. So I will catch you very soon. This was a bit of a funny moment here just as I'm exiting the depot. As you can clearly see, I stopped before the line. For some reason this van decides that he wants to try and let me out, but I didn't really want to go because he stops right where my trailer's going to be clipping the front of his van. So I honked at him, as you can hear, quite a few times, but he didn't really do anything, so I just had to go around him. Sometimes the AI do stuff like this on the game. It's a bit different to Forza. They are more realistic, but they can also be just as stupid as the Forza AI, like here. And you'll see another occasion of this later on in the video as well. So they think they're being helpful, but actually they're not really, because it made it a bit more difficult for me to actually emerge onto this dual carriageway. However, you know, we just get on with it, and eventually I was able to get on the road. Just for a bit of clarification, here I was just checking the route just to kind of show you guys where we're going as well, but just to kind of see the kind of route that we were taking. As you can see, we're heading down south, going over the top of London, and then across the channel, like I say, and then we're heading west, and once we get into France, towards the final destination. Bit of a mistake from me here, because I was going for the overtake, and then I saw that obviously I was very low on fuel, very tired, and then I saw just on the map that there was a service station coming up, so I kind of cut that car off a bit, and then I was right up the arse of this Range Rover. But it's a game, it's not too bad, it's not something I would do in real life. But I tried to get off the motorway here as soon as possible so as not to hold the car up behind, so I did cut across the line here, but it was so that I wasn't slamming on, because there's not really a slip road there for this service station. So I thought I'd leave this bit in here to show you how the service stations work in this game. It is quite realistic. You turn your engine off, you can see the litres and the price that you're paying, and it clicks off automatically when you've reached the full tank, and then I literally just pull forward into the space here ahead of me. I didn't want to leave the trailer overhanging too much, so that's why I kind of took the cabin towards the right, to overhanging into the next space, in order to park up and get some rest, and then we hit the road again in the morning. Bit of a difficult emerge coming up here, because I've got to get onto the motorway and into the second lane with no slip road, and obviously I'm in a HGV, so acceleration isn't its main job. However, this truck is actually pretty good at accelerating, as you can see. Even with a full load on the back, it does really pick up when you put your foot down. But like I said, it is HGV, so I did have to get a bit of help from the AI to help me get into the second lane here once I'd emerged, and I did hold the HGV up in lane 1 as well when I pulled out onto the motorway. But we managed to get out, and that was the most important part, and then I was able to get up to speed, so there we are. This was another slightly difficult one, because I had to look around to the side of the window here before coming back to the left, because I wouldn't have been able to see the cars in my mirror at the time, especially with it being on the bend. So that was a slightly difficult one to get back into this left lane as well. As you can see here, I am having to overtake this HGV and lorry in lane 1, and these two cars that are just sat behind for no apparent reason, because I'm doing 60 mile an hour. I've got my speedometer set to 60, which is the speed limit, but for some reason the AI only do 56, and that is actually the case in real life as well, even though the speed limit is technically 60 in the highway code in Britain. All of the HGVs tend to do 56, which is it's a bit odd really, but that is why I'm having to overtake these, because they're doing 56 and I'm doing 60. But I suppose I am making a bit of progress, and ultimately I'm getting me delivery done quicker than they are. So, but you will notice that he does seem to speed up a bit here down the hill, so I had to go slightly over 60 to be able to get ahead of him and back into the left lane. must admit that I found that speeding fine a bit tight, because considering that the speed limit had just changed and I was concentrating on moving out into the second lane to take this exit further up, so I found that one a bit tight. I got stung there because I still had my cruise control on, so yeah, I didn't really appreciate that one, but that's just what happens, I suppose. Here is another interesting situation with the AI in this game, because this Ford Focus here comes up my inside, as you can see in the left mirror, because I'm sat in the middle lane, because admittedly I thought I was going to catch this other lorry quicker than I actually did, which is why I stayed in the middle lane rather than moving back and then coming back out again. But I did find it quite amusing because he came up my inside, undertook me, but then didn't move out in front of me in the gap, and just kind of sat behind that lorry, so I was blasting my horn at him. And then I realised that I had to take this exit further up, so I had to put my foot down slightly over the speed limit just to get in front of that lorry to then take the exit in front of it. And then here's another one with this Range Rover here. I was catching him because I had my speedo set to 62 rather than 60 going through this section. So usually the speed limit for the cars is faster than my lorry, but it was 60 for all vehicles coming through this section. So I was getting ready to overtake him, but then I saw the national speed limit sign again, so I knew he was going to take off. And then he decided to move out to the third lane for some inexplicable reason. I'm not entirely sure why he did that. He didn't even need to move out at all. Perhaps he did it so that I could come in to the second lane, but I think it was a bit of an overreaction if I'm being entirely honest. But there you go, that's another interesting AI situation for you. Like I said at the start of the video, I have included multiple points of view at certain points in the video, so here is some outside view of me taking this junction, which I thought would be interesting, apart from me nearly crashing into the barrier there, because obviously you can't see where you're going, so it was a bit sketchy, but I thought it would just make this a bit more interesting for you. We are now approaching the Channel Tunnel. If you look in the bottom right on the map, you'll see, kind of perpendicular to the motorway in a second, you'll see another dashed line, and that is the route of essentially the Channel Tunnel that we'll be taking. So we've just got the last stretch of this road here, and then now you can see in the map all of the lines where you board the Channel Tunnel train. So that is where we are going to be heading, and then of course when we respawn we will be in France to complete the last part of our drive. I also decided, instead of just pulling on here and leaving it all wonky and letting the game sort it out, I thought I'd just do a parallel park for you. So I have sped this up a bit, just to make it a bit quicker, but here is me parallel parking, and yes, I did also stall it a couple of times before when I put it in reverse, but just ignore that. For anyone thinking that I was going to hit that barrier, so did I. I'm not quite sure how I managed to stop, but I definitely approached this toll section far too fast and nearly crashed into the gate, but I didn't, so we're all okay. Another corner where I slightly overdid it there, and that was a bit too close for comfort. I did crap myself a bit there, so I had to slow it down for the following corner coming onto the motorway there. You definitely can't take corners that quick in a truck of this weight with the trailer on the back. I should have realised that, because it's not exactly a Lamborghini in Forza, but yeah, so that one was quite interesting. But yeah, just don't do that too quick, because that's what happens. I would also strongly advise looking where you're going when you're driving, because if you don't, well, that's what happens. You plough into a police car and you cause a massive pile up, adding a crash scene to a crash scene. So don't do what I'm doing, trying to get scenic shots for a YouTube video. Just focus on where you're going, and you won't do what I've just done. I don't know about you, but I thought that toll gate was handled much smoother than the last one. There was very little risk of me plying through the barrier there, so I think that's probably how it should be done, unlike the last demonstration where I was within probably an inch of ploughing through a barrier and paying a hefty fine. So yeah, that's the way to do it. What the hell was that? I really don't know what that AI was doing. I was under the speed limit, I was just merrily going around the corner, and they just pulled out on me. You would think that being an AI, they would know the location of every vehicle in the whole map, but apparently that one didn't see me coming. And I tried to avoid it, but I couldn't. You know, you can't exactly swerve in a truck like you can in a car, so inevitably I ended up hitting them, and then they just drove off, as you do. I would also like to add as well that I was the one that paid the fine for that collision when they were the ones that pulled out on me, which is really rigged, if I had my say on that. I don't think that should be the case, but that is the case, so there you go. As you can see, there are some very scenic roads in Trucking Simulator. I did seem to forget to pan the camera in this one, but as you've seen in some of the other bridges and that we've gone over, they are very scenic indeed. So I would definitely recommend that you do play this game if you can. I do also believe that it's coming to Xbox as well, so if you have an Xbox or if you have a PC with Steam like I'm playing it on at the moment, then I'd definitely recommend that you do play it, because there are some very scenic roads in this game, especially Greece. The Greece map is really good, so I would definitely recommend that one. good to know that they also get rain in France and that it's not just in Britain where I live. Don't mind me just taking my screenshots on the move while I drive past this truck that's on fire. You never know, it might be the thumbnail, it depends which one I decide to use. Another case of me trying to overtake a truck and then realising that I wanted to take the exit into the service station, and then I ended up rear-ending it. Technically that was my fault, but I'm not really sure why the truck was suddenly going so slow. I thought that the slip road was slowing down, but apparently it isn't. So again, I paid the price for that one, even though you could argue it was 50-50. That use of the horn was actually to serve as a warning to that coach that I was there, because again, like the Passat that pulled out on me before, they appeared to not know of my existence, but nevertheless it didn't really make any difference because they just barged through anyway. And we are now taking the exit to complete the final road towards our destination town, Rennes. Only around a minute left now before we will be arriving at the depot to drop off this load. Okay, so we are very near the end of our journey now, just along this street, and then we're in to the depot to drop off our delivery of logs. So I hope you've enjoyed this trip. Hopefully you'll like to see some more of these in the future. There is lots to this game that I have yet to explore. There's lots of trucks that I can buy, lots of trailers, different combinations. I've only travelled around 25% of the map so far. I have got the all of the expansions that are released at the time of recording, although I do believe that there's another one on the way in the Scandinavian, like another part of Scandinavia. So there is loads to do on this game, and I would be more than happy to take that journey with you, whether it be in video form, like this, perhaps some highlights, some shorter videos, and we could potentially also play this game live on live streams as well, which would be interesting for me and hopefully for you. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this one. and I am just going to drop this delivery off now, and then that will be the end of the video. You will see here, this is me noticing that I have come in the wrong way. I thought that I'd been to this depot before, and I thought that coming around this way was the best place to set up for reversing, but I got it a bit wrong. So I'm just going to zoom around the roundabout that we've just come round and come back in the other way, so that I'm able to approach this reversing manoeuvre at the correct angle, make it a lot easier for myself. So although it takes a bit of time to go around here, it actually works out much better in the long run. So I'll leave you to watch this, and then I will see you very soon in the next video. I don't yet know what that's going to be, so you definitely don't, but I will let you know when I know. Like I say, let me know your thoughts on this format for this video and for this game. So thank you very much for watching. Subscribe for more, turn your notifications on, and I will see you very, very soon.